This week, a consumer alert for fake Bad Bunny tickets, plus a case of dog napping on the subway, and
we live in a terrible world.
A 78-year-old man is slashed in the neck on a New York City sidewalk. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. For our first story this week, we begin on Lexington Avenue in East Harlem. That's where residents say daily life has become unsafe. Fox 5 has exclusive video showing people using drugs and passing out on sidewalks as police respond to quality of life complaints.
New concerns over quality of life issues in East Harlem.
Yeah, from drugs to sex acts. Fox 5's Lisa Evers takes a look at what people in one neighborhood say is happening on their streets.
Residents and business owners here in East Harlem tell us they see open-air drug use and even sex acts on their streets and in public parks nearly every single day. And they also tell us they are seeing the police respond, but they'd like to see more.
Bro, you good? You gotta wake up, man.
This exclusive image and video, you can see what it looked like at 116th Street and Lexington Avenue when we first arrived. Drug use and users passed out, blocking the store entrance. A short time later, we saw NYPD officers responding to quality of life complaint calls and move the individuals. There are plenty of calls for help.
It really isn't safe. It's not safe at all, especially if you got people that's not using drugs at all. You gotta walk by here and you got young kids that's seeing it. No, it's not safe at all.
Take a walk anywhere in the 116th Street to 126th Street corridor along Lexington Avenue, and you can see people shooting drugs, smoking K2, getting high, and passing out right on the sidewalk.
But I done seen people fall out. I saved a couple people too, man. I be having Narcan and stuff. You gotta help them sometime.
The NYPD says major crimes in the 25th precinct are down 14.45% so far this year, a major win. Yet the stubborn presence of local drug dealers and their daily user customers, who can also act erratically from the combo of chemicals, can be intimidating.
When I go home, I walk home, I be seeing smoke, put a shooter up and they shooting up. I be telling them to get out the way. Like, this is sad.
And have you seen people having sex in public?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting.
This summer, the NYPD initiated quality of life teams to more quickly respond to residents' complaints. A few residents here tell us they are noticing a difference.
I think that the NYPD, they're doing a good job of controlling the areas where the high crime is. And so I feel safe.
The NYPD says that there has only been one 311 or 911 call for public lewdness so far this year. And they tell us that routine patrols are continually responding to the open-air drug use problem.
We now head to Flatbush, Brooklyn, where NYPD officers shot and injured a 22-year-old felon during a shootout.
This morning in Brooklyn, police are searching for a second gunman involved in a shootout last night in Flatbush. NYPD officers shot and injured another suspect.
It all happened around 7:30 while two officers were out on patrol and heard gunshots. Let's get right to Good Day's Haley Fixler. She is live outside the 70th Precinct Station House this morning with the very latest. Haley, good morning.
Good morning, Robert Tashani. Well, as they search for that second suspect, the other person involved in the shootout is in the hospital right now, we're told, in stable condition. Now, no police officers were injured, and this is all still very much under investigation. But take a listen to what the assistant police chief says about last night.
Our officers ran towards gunfire, and they bravely and immediately confronted a dangerous situation and did exactly what they were trained to do.
All right, so here's what police tell us. They say on patrol, officers heard gunfire on Ocean Avenue. They came up to two people on a shootout and fired their own guns at the person closest to them. He was shot once. That other person took off running. Officers did find a 9mm handgun on the scene, as well as numerous shell casings. The man who was shot was taken to the hospital and is listed in stable condition. Police have identified him as 22-year-old Eddie Nesson Bedoy. They said he has quite a history and was supposed to be on parole until 2030. The assistant chief says he was only out on the streets because he did not have to serve consecutive sentences for his crimes.
He was arrested in 2021 at the age of 18 for shooting someone not far from where we are right now. And while that case was pending, he was subsequently released on his own recognizance from custody and arrested again for a violent commercial robbery in southern Brooklyn. This is a person who has repeatedly shrugged his shoulders at consequences and at our criminal justice system for these violent crimes that he committed.
We're told this entire incident was captured on body cameras. Again, police are still searching for that second person involved in the shootout.
Over in Hell's Kitchen, a 78-year-old man is slashed in the neck. Police say his attacker used a butter knife from an outdoor dining table.
Now to that slashing in Hell's Kitchen. Police tonight are searching for the suspect that attacked that 78-year-old victim. Fox 5's Kendall Green is on the scene right now with the latest on this. Good evening, Kendall.
Hi, good evening, Arthur. Not that often you hear of a victim of crime this age. And that's what's been throwing people off this here in this area. A 78-year-old man, old enough to be a grandparent, old enough to be a great-grandparent, yet he was a victim of this latest slashing here in the city. Now, it's a pretty busy stretch here of Hell's Kitchen where we're at right now, and a much different feel from what it looked like early this afternoon when police say around 2:50 they received reports that a man slashed another man in his neck, his victim, again, 78 years old. Now, it happened here along West 48th and 9th Avenue here in Hell's Kitchen. And what remains unclear at this hour is what led up to the act, whether the men knew each other before the incident or if this was a random argument turned physical. A nearby restaurant manager, he tells us that man behind the stabbing grabbed a butter knife from one of the dining tables nearby and again, after an argument, slashed that elderly man in the neck. The victim was taken to Bellevue Hospital in stable condition, while police confirmed no arrests at last check.
You know, that's so evil. I mean, we live in a terrible world where bad things happen, but I'm happy, you know, he's alive.
Now, looking at the NYPD crime stats here in Midtown North, the patrol area where this slashing happened, through last Sunday, compared to this time last year, every major crime with the exception of rape and burglary are down. Murder down nearly 54%, robberies down 18%, felony assaults down 12.5%, and grand larceny down 2%. Rape, however, up by nearly 34%, and burglaries up by nearly 5%. But whether those numbers reflect the perception of crime and safety in the area, it depends on who you ask.
Me personally haven't had any experience. I've been living here for the past, I think, 5-6 years. And I've never seen it personally, but I do hear about it a lot.
Now, as for the person behind that slashing, police described the suspect as a male wearing a black shirt and blue jeans. If anybody has any information regarding his whereabouts or who that individual is, you're asked to contact police.
Another terrifying scene below ground in Midtown Manhattan as a man is shoved onto the subway tracks. Thankfully, he was able to pull himself to safety.
The town where police say a man was shoved onto the subway tracks. This was at the subway station at West 50th Street and 7th Avenue about 2 hours ago. They say the 44-year-old victim was able to pull himself back onto the platform. He was taken in the hospital for facial injuries but is listed in stable condition. Police say the suspect took off and they have now started searching for them.
And yet another instance of subway crime, this time a dog napping in the Bronx. Police say this dog was stolen while the owner slept on a northbound D train, but less than 48 hours after Fox 5 started showing photos of the suspect, the dog was returned to a local precinct. That man and his dog are now said to be staying at a homeless shelter where pets are allowed. Well, a homeless New Yorker has been reunited with his dog that was stolen from him while he was sleeping on a Bronx subway train.
That's right. This is an update to a story we told you about yesterday. Charles Williams told AM New York that someone dropped off his dog Rock at the 44th Precinct Station House in the Bronx yesterday. Now, this came after he fell asleep while riding a northbound D train Sunday, and when he woke up, Rock, his dog, was gone. Detectives found surveillance footage that showed a man unclipping the dog's harness and leaving with him. No arrests have been made yet. Meanwhile, the city's Department of Homeless Services told AM New York that Williams will be placed in a pet-friendly shelter where he can stay with Rock.
And finally, we end with a warning for fans of Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny. There have been several complaints from New York residents claiming they were told their tickets were invalid after traveling to Puerto Rico for the singer's recent concert.
The New York Attorney General Letitia James says her office has received complaints from New Yorkers who were sold fake tickets, some even paying thousands of dollars.
Fox 5's Linda Schmidt is here to tell us what's going on. That's a lot of money, Linda.
You know what? And just imagine, you travel all the way to Puerto Rico to go to a Bad Bunny concert, and then you get there, you pay for the ticket, you get there, you try to get in, and you can't get in because your ticket is bogus. Well, the Attorney General is sending out a warning today to fans. Now, Bad Bunny, who has a huge fan base right here in New York, is performing in a series of concerts in Puerto Rico through September 14th. And the tickets are not cheap either. A.G. James says some New Yorkers paid thousands of dollars, as Steve just said, for the tickets and also flights to Puerto Rico, and they ended up getting turned away at the door. Now, the AG is advising anyone who is buying tickets to make sure that they are buying them from a reputable, well-known ticket seller. Do not use cash, prepaid money transfers, or wire transfers to pay for your concert tickets. And if the price of the ticket sounds too good to be true, you know what I'm going to say next. It is too good to be true. That is a red flag. And do not buy tickets that are printed at home. Now, I also spoke with a security expert just a short time ago. It happened late today. Here's what he had to say.
That you're purchasing the tickets on a platform or exchange or an app that you know is totally legit. Like you're buying it from Ticketmaster, you're buying it from SeatGeek, you're not utilizing Facebook Marketplace and other areas that are not reliable forms of you getting your hands on the tickets.
Now, if you are somebody who has been duped, AG James says that you should file a complaint with her office online as soon as possible. Steve and Natasha, just imagine how disappointing that would be.
Yeah,
you're spending all that money, plus you're a huge fan, and you can't even go to bed.
Yeah, it's
you're in a different country.
That's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.